Welcome back to continuing coverage of the Florida Powerboat Club's Project 1080 HP, sponsored by Mercury Racing. This is Stu Jones. In our last episode, we painted the Project 1080 from bow to stern, and we did a complete conversion of the engine room, and we started on the cockpit and the helm. Now remember all those nasty wires and gauges that were hanging everywhere? For this episode, we're going to head to Tecnografic in Fort Lauderdale, and we're going to reconstruct the entire dash on the passenger side and on the captain's side with a new helm. All new panels and all new instrument clusters are going into the boat, and we can't do it without the professionals at Tecnographic. So let's go. Stu Jones with more updates to the Project 1080 cigarette, sponsored by Mercury Racing. We're here in Fort Lauderdale at Tecnographic, and Charlotte Bellhost is the president of that company. And I've known about Tecnographic for a long, long time. They make the custom panels so that we can have all of our instruments and all of our switches all come together. But what they do is they make them custom. You size them, they create them, you put them in the boat, they look spectacular. Charlotte, it's been a lot of fun I've had building this boat, but this process was truly a custom process, and Sam took me through every step by step and got me to the end. We're almost ready to go into the shop now. What are we going to do today?
Well, I'm going to show you our newest hydro dipping process. So all of your panels are going to get a carbon fiber finish with a high gloss clear coat. Everything we make here is custom, like you said. So we've already cut your panels. They're ready to go. And then after that, we're going to do some silk screening, some artwork, a little bit of logos, a little bit of branding.
Okay, well, we're going to meet Sam. We're going to go into the shop. Let's take a tour. Sam Sladen is in charge of sales, marketing, and custom design. This is where it all started for you and I. We came into this room. I looked at all of the samples on the walls, and you helped me decide what was going to be the best finish for the boat. It's a carbon fiber look that we're going for. Sam, what you really did was you took a piece of paper. You said, Stu, map out the dash of the boat, show me how you'd like it to look, bring it in here, and we'll start from scratch. And that's exactly what we did. Now, when I handed you that paper, then what did you do?
We made a design that followed the contours of the console. And from that, I was able to put that into my design program. We'll then be able to send that to a CNC router.
Pat Sullivan, my rigger, looked at it and said, Stu, that's too cluttered. I don't like the way it looks. I think those gauges shouldn't be touching like that. I came back to you and I said, let's find a solution. And you changed everything, or we went with single road gauges, and it fit. You made it fit, and you made it work. And of course, the other panels, at least 5 or 6 different panels. We've got the battery, the power center, which is down on the floor. It goes in below the rear bench. We took it from 2 battery switches to 3 battery switches.
But you got an older boat here that we want to bring into the new generation.
Right.
We want to make everything look as if it was brand new.
Yep.
And still have that vintage feel to it. Ideally, we don't ever change the outside dimensions of the panels. We just change what's needed for the configuration on the inside. We have nearly every modern instrument for a boat drawn up already, so it's actually a fairly easy process for us to go in, get the outside dimensions drawn up, create the mounting in the same locations, and
without the customer having to bring all the gauges and all the instruments.
we don't need all the gauges, we don't need all your instruments, we just need to simply know what kind of configuration you're considering.
Sam, what I really liked was how you did this panel. This obviously is the power center, the 2 batteries and the voltmeter that we had on the power station, which is actually a panel that's in the rear seat in the cockpit. But now we've got a house battery because we're going to run a big JL audio system, and decided to go with 3 batteries. You were able to position things, to line things up, still keep the same panel size, outer dimensions, and you moved the voltmeter down. We still had room for a cigarette logo, but you made everything work. What we thought, this old breaker panel that we had, we're not using breakers anymore because we went to Boca Tech switches, but we ran out of places to put things. We wanted a 12-volt outlet. We wanted a phone charger. We needed a switch plate for the new, for the Livorsi tacks. They're electronic, and they have a little digital readout, and you have to be able to reset them. And so we've got a switching for that. And then that gave us some room for 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 total accessory switches, what we just added. So this is kind of a going forward portion of the boat. Now, We don't have any of these allocated to anything yet, but we know that if it's time to add anything future in the boat, we've got 6 places to do it, so we're going to go ahead and put them in.
What we got going on here is where the real magic happens. This is where we're going to take that carbon fiber finish and put it on the panel.
Okay. Now, what was amazing to me was that I have done business with Tecnografic over the years, and I've had them make many panels for my different boats. And of course, I know that a lot of the boat manufacturers are using Tecnografic in Fort Lauderdale right from the factory. And it was the first time that I got in past the front door and the front showroom to see how they actually create these panels. But this dipping process and the machinery that they use to do it was so high tech, and I had no idea, watching this process and watching my own panels being dipped, and to see 1 minute a bare black panel turn into a beautiful work of art with this fantastic shiny carbon fiber finish. And after the panels are dipped, there's still plenty more to do. They move down the line through this huge washing machine, which also dries the product and gets it ready for further prep. But it was an amazing process. I've never seen it before. It was so high tech, and now I can appreciate the amount of work that goes into designing and creating these beautiful panels.
So we have 2 options for the text labeling of switches. One would be our silk screening process, which you see here. The other would be engraving. The engraving process allows us to actually illuminate that text so that you can see all your switch labels for night boating. Stu has a combination of processes going on with his panels. He's going to have silk screening for his logos, as well as engraving and backlighting for his text labeling. Right now we're seeing the silk screening of a logo. This is a custom project going on where we work with a yellowfin center console.
Well, after laying on the finish and after washing the panels, and then after putting on the logos and graphics on the panels, clearing the panels, we pretty much wrap it up here at Tecnografic. Thank you for the factory tour today. To Sam and to Charlotte, www.tecnografic.com. Remember to spell it correctly, guys. It's not the way you think it's spelled, okay? It's a really cool name. And what I do want you guys to do, though, is remember, this is a custom process. Doing your individual Resto-mod project like I did. These are the guys, these are the gals you want to talk to. It doesn't matter that they're in Fort Lauderdale. You could be on the other side of the country. They're going to be able to get your job done. Take my word for it. I didn't even really need to walk in here, not even once. Sam had me covered every step of the way, and with Charlotte and her team here, I was very impressed. So thank you very much, and you know, guys, I can't wait to do my next Resto-mod project because I'm going to bring it right here. Watching this entire process, it's hard to imagine how it's all going to come together, but when we finally got those panels in place with those Livorsi gauges, the Garmin Chart plotter, the Mercury Racing instruments, and the vessel view, it was just beautiful. Honestly, to me, it's a work of art. The professionals at Tecnografic knew exactly what I wanted to do, and they created a masterpiece, just beautiful just to look at, and certainly going to be functional when we get the Project 1080 in the water. In our next episode featuring Project 1080 HP coverage, we're going to be at the Performance Trading Shop here in Fort Lauderdale doing the final rigging, which is installation of those Mercury Racing 540s, as well as the drives, which are Mercury Racing Bravo XR with ITS setup. There's all kinds of pieces of the puzzle to put together still. We're also working on the interior. That's an upcoming episode, as Mike Mears and his team from Fine Line Interiors in Hollywood are basically recreating the entire cockpit and interior from scratch. It's an exciting process to watch, and you're going to see some amazing craftsmanship from these guys. So I can't wait to show you guys the outcome of that project. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember, if you want to stay up to date, be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel, Florida Powerboat Club, and hit the bell on the right so you get the notifications every time a new episode comes out. For information about Florida Powerboat Club and our upcoming events, visit us at flpowerboat.com.